All right, folks, in this video, we're going to be talking about the project. Some of you guys are having questions regarding what you need to do, and so I just want to make a quick little video that will kind of explain a couple things. All right, so first off, what you should have already been done or already been working with is a job. All right, so everybody should have been assigned a job. So, like for example, I'm just going to kind of make a job up. So, a doctor. I'm going to change this just so I'm not giving away any answers here. So let's just say a doctor, let's see, who was making $156,000 a year. Okay, so first thing I need to do is I need to go ahead and figure out what does he make a month. So very quickly, I'm going to take 156 and I'm going to divide by 12. All right. So when I do that, I believe I get 13,000. All right. So as a doctor, I'm making $13,000 a year. All right. Now, if I was single, then I would take 13,000 and go ahead and go to the next part. Okay? Because remember, the next part was your marital status as well as your spouse. Well, let's say if you weren't married, then you would go ahead and jump to part number 4. Okay? But if you are married, very simply, this is what you do. So let's, for example, just because of time's sake, we'll just leave this the same. Let's say I was married to a teacher. Okay? So $44,000 a year divided by 12. The monthly pay for a teacher, it's going to end up a decimal. I'm just going to round 3,667. Okay. So if you are married, this is all you do. Just one more thing, and that is this. You would take your income, you would take your spouse's income, and just simply add it. So that means you will have a monthly gross pay of, what's that, 16,667 a month. Okay. So if you are married, all you do is just add your spouse's income to your income. So you're at 16,667. Okay. Now, let's go back to if I was single. Okay. So I just want to deal with friendly numbers and 13,000 friendly numbers. All right. So 13,000. Okay. And let's say I'm single. Now, where a lot of people get screwed up on, all right, and this is the taxes, okay? So this is the taxes. We have two parts to the tax, this tax component. We have this part, and then we have this part, okay? When you are creating your slides, this is how you do it, okay? So this is just kind of a display here. You have the first part, you have the second part. Now, these two parts do not get combined. Okay, some of you guys are thinking, well, do I take the net pay and add it to federal year? No, you don't. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to figure out how much is getting taken away from his check monthly with this first part right here. I keep on drawing arrows to it. Then, totally separate, you're going to figure out, okay, how much should he get taken or how much should he pay in federal taxes throughout the year? And that's when the charts come in. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the gross pay thing. All right, so if you read, we're paying attention to the very first bullet point. So I'm not paying attention to this, I'm paying attention to the first bullet point. It says, enter your monthly income. Going back, my monthly income is 13,000. Okay, so now if you remember, money before taxes is gross. So my gross income is 13,000 a month. Okay. It says, then calculate your monthly taxes on your salary at a rate of 30%. So what that means is basically all the taxes that I pay. So the taxes, my monthly taxes will be 30% of gross pay. So mathematically, this is what I do. I take 13,000 and I simply multiply it by 30%, and that'll get me my taxes. All right. Now, once I do that, I'm going to get $3,900. All right. Now, pay attention to this. All right. So, notice how much money, and I need y'all to pay attention to this one here. Notice how much money you started with. That was my gross income. Notice how much taxes I had to pay. These two numbers I just boxed in will be the first part of my graphic organizer. So when you go to your graphic organizer, the very first thing is section 1, monthly income. So my monthly income was $13,000. Okay. Now, it says taxes. See that little minus sign there? Let's see, how much was my taxes again? My taxes was 3,900. So that means I'm going to subtract 3,900 from 13,000. So 13,000 minus 3,900, that means as of right now, my net income would be, I think I could do this in my head, but I want to make sure I get it right. Ends up being $9,100. Basically, this is how much you have left. All right, so you made 13,000 a year, you paid almost 4,000 in taxes, you're left with $9,100 left. Okay? Now, and we're going to come back to the tax thing, but I do want to hit this real quick just because some folks are getting screwed up on how to actually do the graphic organizer. All right, so notice what we did is we did this first one. We will come back to this. All right, we will come back to this. Just pause for a second, okay? Look at section 2. It says savings. Apply at least 5% of your net income towards savings. Now, your net income was, on your graphic organizer, it was $9,100. Okay? So, you're going to say, it says at least 5%. All right? So, I'm just going to go ahead and do 5%. You can do 10%, you can do whatever, whatever you want to, but it's got to be at least 5%. So, $9,100 times 0.05, that will give me my savings. All right? So, $9,100 times 0.05, that equals $455. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my graphic organizer, and so it says part 2 savings. I just found out that I'm going to save $455. So what I do is very simply, I'm going to take how much money I had left from step 1 or part 1, which was 9,100, and I'm going to subtract it by 455. Again, remember, see that subtraction sign. So 9,100 minus 455. That means I have $8,645 left. Okay? And then you keep going off of that. So, like, for example, housing. We'll do it one more time, and then I'm going to stop. And we'll go back to taxes. All right? So if you're waiting patiently for taxes, I apologize. All right, so housing expense. Go back to your instructions. We are now in section 3, housing. Okay? What do you want to choose? Any, mini, miny, mo, you choose. I'm just going to go ahead and choose the 650. All right? So there's no mathematical issue here. There's no multiplication. All you do is just add, or just choose, I'm sorry. So it's 650. So go to my graphic organizer for section 3. I chose the one-bedroom apartment. So that means, well, 600, I think it was 650. All right, yeah, 650. All right, so my next part, I'm going to simply take whatever I have left, which is 8,645, and subtract it by 650. So that means now I have 7,995 left. Okay, and then you keep building down. All right, you keep building down. You keep on subtracting. You keep on figuring out how much is left, blah, 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 and then you just keep building down. Okay, now let's go back to taxes. All right, so taxes. Now it's time to actually figure out this second thing here. All right, so let me clean all this up. All right, so I am going to figure out how much money should I have paid in taxes. Okay, and it says use the federal and state tables to calculate your net income. Okay, so I think this was a typo. All right, so it should be use your federal and state taxes to calculate your taxes. your yearly taxes. Yearly taxes. I think that was a typo. All right. So combine both your income if you're married, and then your spouse will remain income. All right. So I was single. So that means I'm going to use my yearly salary, which is 156,000. And then taking 156,000, I'm going to go back to my E-Class homepage, which is right here, and I'm going to use the tax info stuff. I'll do federal first. Okay. So I make $156,000 a year. Okay. Now, if you remember, the very first thing you need to do is subtract the standard deduction. So subtract 12,000, I get 144,000 a year. Okay. Now, I'm going to take 144,000 and go to the table for this. All right. So I'm going to go to where does 144,000 fit? All right. It fits at the 24% mark. Okay. Now, since it's the 24% mark, you're going to use the 24% formula here. All right. So I hope you remember from our first unit that we did this semester, you're going to take the numbers that are in the formula, so to speak. So 14,382 plus 0.24. Remember, there's two numbers that you use that you're going to subtract. The first number is going to be the number that you looked up, which is 44,000. The second number will be this 84,000 from the formula. Okay? So 14,382.50 plus 0.24 parenthesis for 144 minus 84,200. All right. So once I press enter, federal taxes, I would have to pay $28,735. All right, a year. Okay, you don't do anything with that. You do not do anything with that. You just go, okay, that's what I have to pay. I'm going to stop. Okay, so what that means is when you are creating your slides, all right, so when you are creating your slides, this is what your slide's going to look like. Now, let me clear out everything. So very simply, what you do is you just create a slide saying how much money you'll pay in federal taxes. So there we go. Now, granted, this is a different question, but this is what you do. You just say yearly federal tax, total taxes, whatever that answer was. Let's see. It was 28,735. So this would be crossed out, and it would have been 28,735. So 28,735 a year. All right. And so you do the exact same thing with the state tax. All right. So going back to, and I know my video is getting a little long here, but so again, you're making, Lord, I forgot how much money I was. I think it was 156,000 a year. All right. And now it's time to do the state tax. Now remember, the state tax, you got to subtract the standard deduction, which is 5,000. All right. So when you do that, you get $151,000, and this is what you're going to the table for. All right. So you're going to the table. Now remember, the table is right there. Okay. So you're going to click on the table. A new thing is going to open up, and then you're going to see, based on the table, how much you should pay in taxes. Okay? And again, once you figure out how much you make in taxes, then you go and you create a slide. So going back to this, here it is. Yearly state tax. This would be it. Now, obviously, this is not the right numbers, but basically you just make a slide on how much state taxes you would pay. Okay? So that's pretty much it. Hope that explained a couple questions. Let me know if you have any issues. All right?